you say, you're not cutting anything out of this. Like, this isn't a critique of your platform or your methods at all, please. I'm just like...
Are you critiquing me right now?
No, I'm not critiquing you, but if I was, you would sit here and listen.
No. Damn.
I know,
okay,
right?
Daddy.
Wow. Hold on. That might be doing something for me. Hold on. I'm quarter chub halfway to praying right now. Hold on. No, like when we were initially recording before your intro, my first thought was like, ooh, these would be like really cool like TikTok snippets if there were a fucking video camera and like, something really cool to like chop up and piece together for like promo. That's just how my mind works because I am all about maximum exposure and making people do the ha-has and the chuckles.
I love that.
And the also a lot of the what the fuck? The fuck's going on here?
Yeah, so this is what I have to say about that is I hope that by the time I get to the point where that's high enough on my priority list that either I can afford or someone is offering to pay for me someone else to do all of that work.
I mean, like, I'm just at that point where, like, I can afford to have someone else do some of the things that I don't want to fucking do. Just because there's a lot of this shit that, for listeners, for your casual consumers, we work very hard to portray it as we get in front of a mic and we do this. And then we put it out there and you listen and you love it. There's a lot more work that goes into it beyond that. That you will never see, that we work very hard to make sure you don't see. A lot of times where our head is in our hands going, why is this doing this way?
Yeah. After I took the reins back for the production, that was probably the most often that, like, the most frequent that we've talked over, for some years. Like, in that month or two where I was just like, Wayne, like, it's not working. Like, I know you showed me, but it's just not working.
Well, and I kind of did that purposefully where it was like, because I know you learn best from figuring shit out. Yeah. So I kind of gave to you what was given to me, which was, here's a basic foundation of knowledge. Now build on that and figure it the fuck out because I know you can.
I'm so grateful for my new podcast producer who, I'm guessing it's okay if I share his name. Let me know, please. Because he'll listen to these. Who initially reached out to me interested in coaching sessions and then saw that I had put an ad up for a new podcast producer and I was offering like, hey, I'll trade you coaching sessions to edit, mix, produce my podcast. And he was like, no, it's cool. Like, I'm just kind of looking for something to do in the evenings. Like, I want to be, more engaged with life in the evenings, right? After work. And I was like, oh my God, did I just get offered, like, I mean, it's not free. Like, there's a sense of value exchange. In other ways. And I know that he's expressed really enjoying and benefiting from listening to the content. Yeah. And right, I mean, he's getting a free paid subscriber, subscription, right?
I mean, one of the perks of being a producer is also one of the biggest curses because you have heard so much cool shit. Like, some of the people that I've done production for music-wise, there are so many dope songs that I want to be out so I can share it publicly instead of just listening to it in my car going, I cannot show this to anybody because it's not my place to. But what the fuck are you doing just sitting on this, man? Fucking put it out there. Like, so yeah, it's really cool. You get the early access. You get to hear the finished product before anybody else does. But at the same time, you hear the finished product before anyone else does, so you can't go up to someone and go, bro, have you heard this? Because no, the fuck they haven't, and you can't show it to them.
Right. It's kind of like being like it's like you have some security clearance.
Almost.
Top secret security clearance.
Like, there's a lot of NDAs in the music shit, which I'm under a few right now. Fucking, you cannot show something to somebody, otherwise they will sue you for everything you fucking have.
A non-disclosure agreement.
Yes.
If anyone doesn't know what that is.
It's not PDA. There aren't public displays of affection.
Especially in that one music video.
Oh, you're talking about outside?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time. So for anybody who's listening, I have a song called Outside by Wayne B and Lil C, where we turned a public park into the most ratchet fucking turn up session ever that involved strippers, a car, and a lot of soap. That was a good time. I'm testing the limits of this pop guard too with the Mr. Producer Man. How you doing?
I really appreciated how I was like, where did you get these women for the video? And you were like, oh, they're just like my friends from the strip club. Like, I just called them up.
Yeah, so part of what I didn't get to in the first episode was partying a lot. There were a lot of strip clubs. A lot of strip clubs. Like, I went so...
And more cocaine.
And more drugs. A lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. A lot of strippers. It was a great time. I don't remember a lot of it, though. But, so before I started doing music and I was frequenting these strip clubs, like, it got to the point, and this was the point where I was like, maybe I'm coming here too often. Where as soon as I walked in the door, it was almost like Norm from Cheers. You know, people turned around and went, Norm! You know, fucking strippers were in there like, hey! And I'm like, oh, shit. They know my name. Or at least the alias that I gave them. Because I didn't use my real name over there. I'm like, well,
really?
shit.
Why?
Because I was doing a lot of illegal shit. And, you know, I'm not going to give them my real name. Mm-hmm. You know, so I had an alias picked out, which only a few people know.
I guess that makes sense. I had an alias as a sex worker.
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
You know, fucking, if you're going to do dirt, don't be dumb about it. Like, you gotta be smart about it. Otherwise, you're just gonna get fucked up. So yeah, I still had contacts with, you know, some of these exotic dancers or strippers, and I was shooting a music video, and I'm like, I need strippers for this. Hey, come on out to this park, you know, this such and such day. I'll throw you some money. And I did. I paid them, but I also got a hell of a discount as to what they would normally charge for it because I had built this relationship. So was it really partying and fucking around, or was it networking for the future?
Yes.
So you go to that strip club because you might be networking for the future.
Nice.
Yeah. Great life advice here. All right. I'm doing a Donald Trump like hand movement right now. Guys, I'm just telling this to you guys. You need to go see some strippers. You have never lived life. Beautiful life, beautiful strippers. The most beautiful strippers you've ever seen. And you need to do cocaine off of their ass. I'm serious, guys. You need to do the purest Colombian cocaine off the most beautiful stripper's ass. It's the best time in the world. And you're networking for the future, okay? That won't ever come back to bite you if you run for president of the United States. Okay?
I think it's okay, this is really interesting to me. So I'm kind of a part of an intimacy professionals networking group, meeting networking group. And I say kind of because I'm a member of the group, but I've never attended the Zoom calls. So I get all the emails, and I could engage more if I wanted to, and I just haven't done that yet.
Okay.
And one of the emails that I saw after the election that came out through the group, is that it was a call for group communication to move to Signal, which is an end-to-end encrypted messaging chat, that ironically I was using years ago for totally different reasons.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. And so there was this call for the intimacy professionals group to move to signal for communication because of the impending new administration. And while on one hand I can imagine like having that mindset, on the other hand, and in the reality I'm living in, I'm like, I really don't think that Donald Trump is going to go after sex workers.
Unless they're illegal immigrants.
Well, okay, but yes.
But that's for a whole different reason, okay?
Minus other third party factors. I really don't think that Donald Trump is going to go after sex workers of any kind, including strippers.
But
that just doesn't seem to be like something.
I mean, I can kind of understand the precautions, for the simple fact that historically more conservative administrations have taken a much more aggressive and active role towards things like sex workers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can understand the precautions, but at the same time, it's like, hey, depending on how big of a group you are, you may or may not even be on the Fed's radar.
Yeah. The thing is, this group isn't, it's far from, I doubt that the majority of the people in it are actually sex workers, right? It's all kinds of intimacy professionals.
Right.
So I'm a member as an intimacy coach, who works with clients and helps them develop more intimate relationships with themselves and with other people in their lives. There are lots of, licensed counselors on this call that just specialize in like sex and relationships in that area. A lot of LGBTQIA plus friendly oriented professionals, professional cuddlers.
Wait. LGBTQ. Hold on, there are a lot more letters now.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna grow.
LGBTQ what?
IA plus.
Okay, so they added a few more letters.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, good for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the point of an acronym is to make it easier to fucking say. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to clown you a little bit on that, but I'm also going to say at the same time, I don't give a fuck.
Clowning is important.
Clowning is important. I'm going to clown you.
At the point that we stop being able to laugh at, especially ourselves, I think we're losing something really significant. Yeah. I didn't like at all how much over the past 4 or 5 years, comedians have been censored in various ways for various topics. I'm not into that.
I'm not into it, but some of the things that some of the comedians were saying, I'm sitting there going, you're taking it a little too far. Mm-hmm. But the majority, I don't think
that that's something that's going to be curbed, through censorship.
No, not at all. And, I say that to say this, the majority of the censorship, it's bullshit. Like, you're going to see a stand-up comedian. They're going to make fun of you.
That's their job.
That is their whole job. So if you don't like that, maybe stand-up comedy is not the place to go on a Friday night for you.
Yeah. Just to conclude, I'm a part of this intimacy professionals networking group, and I find myself when I'm in that space, so not just with this networking group, but in the past being more involved in groups with other sex workers, now having conversations with people who are currently in sex work or in adjacent work, etc., I often find myself feeling more conservative than many of these individuals, and really to my perspective, I'm actually just moderate.
Right.
Not willing to find a balance.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where, you know what, this is starting to turn into a political conversation, and I'm not really feeling all that political today. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling more like having fun.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to steer it in that direction.
I think I assisted in the steering on that one a little bit.
I use these words. I use the word moderate and I use the word conservative, and I could, I'll use it right now, the word progressive. Mm-hmm. And those often refer to politics, but they're also just, ways of noting positions on a spectrum.
Yeah.
that do apply to every facet
100%.
of life.
And I also agree with everything that you've said.
Oh,
especially with...
You don't have to agree with everything I say.
I know I don't. But in this case, I'm choosing to. Not choosing to. I do agree. Like, it's fucking moderate is probably the best way to describe myself too. Like, extremism on either side is just, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't further anybody else's cause.
Well, it's a reflection of imbalances in the individuals.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So to steer the boat away from. Yeah.
Have fun mixing that one, producer boy. Oh, I'm on your ass.
Oh my gosh. Be nice to.
I am being nice to him. Like,
such a sweet.
I am being nice to him.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met you. I'm sure you're a lovely person. I'm still gonna give you shit.
He says that he gives really good hugs. We've never met in person, but I'm like, bro, you just told that to like one of the best huggers ever. Like, do you know how often people are like, you just gave me the best hug I've ever gotten in my life? Okay,
right.
So.
I mean, I've been told that as well. So, I feel like now we need to have a hug off. We gotta challenge that, right? Because I can't let my top spot be challenged, man.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a bunch of strippers and we're gonna line them up.
Oh my god.
And we're just gonna be, and you, producer boy, you and I are gonna be hugging these ladies for like a consecutive 2 hours. We'll make it a paid event. People will pay to come in and witness this. Like, we'll have a panel of judges. It'll be a good time, man. Put in on this with me. Let's get it.
Speaking of strippers,
Ooh.
well, I thought that would get your attention.
What?
I thought that would get your attention.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about strippers.
Help me connect the dots. Give the listeners the paid subscribers / those of you who are tasting a paid subscription.
The people that came about that money.
Connect the dots between Party Wayne and now Wayne, please.
So to explore Party Wayne, we have to kind of delve into what created Party Wayne. And a lot of what created Party Wayne was after I moved back home from Chicago. I got a job, started working. Then my mother had a stroke back in 2017. And I had already been like dealing with the kind of fallout mentally of like giving up my dream of being a thespian. Say it with me.
No,
now.
I said thespian.
Thespian. So I was dealing with the mental fallout from that and kind of settling into the monotony of going to work at a warehouse every day and fucking making money and this is what normal people do. And then my mother had this stroke which left her severely brain damaged and paralyzed on her left side that she never truly recovered from. And so all of that together plus the I moved back into my grandparents' house, which was not good for me either. So I just fucking spiraled, man. And so partying was my escape in the sense of I wasn't suicidal, but I didn't give a fuck whether I lived or died. So I made a lot of horrible choices, got involved with people that I really shouldn't have gotten involved in. A lot of drugs. Cocaine, ecstasy, Molly, and Adderall to be exact, and a lot of drinking. Like, you saw me during a little bit of that, and you saw how much I could drink. Like, I was putting away like a bottle every day, no problem.
Part of the reason I only saw you a little was because that was my Narcotics Anonymous heyday.
Yeah, so like, I tried to make it a point whenever I hung out with you that I would do it completely sober. Well, as completely sober as an addict could be. I was still on Adderall, still twacked out a little bit, but like, fucking, I tried to make it not difficult for you. So, I'm partying, a lot of it was a great time. I got a lot of great stories from that. There's one that comes to mind.
Tell it.
So
tell
me
it.
and my friends, we were strip club hopping, and we started off in Sauget at, I want to say, Country Rock Cabaret. I'm not quite sure, but we left. We went to Brooklyn. Not Brooklyn. We went to Centerville, Illinois, and we hit up a couple spots there. Nothing doing, nothing panning out. Like, it was lame. So we bounced, and we went from there to Brooklyn. Keep in mind, I had already drank a shit ton, because part of our routine at the time was to pre-party at Main Street, St. Charles. And on the way to the pre-party, we had a bottle of Fireball that we were passing around in the car, driving. Not a good idea. So we would pre-party to the pre-party, then we would pre-party, and then we would pre-party again on the way to the east side from St. Charles after the bars closed. So I'm pretty fucked up at this point. Should not have been driving. Drinking and driving, not okay. Like, I advocate for that now. Do not drink and drive. It fucking ruins people's lives. So I'm drinking and driving, right? And we're going from Centerville to Brooklyn, and we're driving on the highway. And I don't know why somebody in the car got the idea of, hey, let's pull the pistol out. And there are these, the road signs that are between Centerville and Brooklyn that are like giving fucking, telling you where the exit is and shit. And just while we're driving down the highway, bop, 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 and we're having a great time. We think it's hilarious. Looking back, it was dumb as fuck. So we had our fill. Pistol gets put away. I'm about to hit my exit. Now, what I saw was my car was in between two lines, and I think I'm doing great. My friends are going, Wayne, 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 Wayne! And next thing you know, my car is Dukes of Hazzard style, ramping the side of the exit ramp, fucking airborne, and fucking the the car lands on the exit ramp, all four tires, cool, kicks into a fishtail. I'm able to get it under control. Once I get it under control, I'm stopped in the middle of this exit ramp. I don't give a fuck if there are cars behind me or not. Like, I'm stopped. Like, holy fuck. I start doing that nervous giggle laugh of, holy shit, we almost just died. Wow. Everyone okay? Because, we had just had the pistol out, so I'm thinking, did someone get shot? Are we good? Homie in the passenger seat, all he does is he looks at me, puts his seatbelt on, and grabs the oh shit handle and goes, way to keep control, man. You overcorrected a little bit at the very end there. I'm like, yeah, I know. My homie in the back seat has started off sitting on the passenger side. Somehow in the fishtail, he slid over to the driver's side, slid over to the passenger side, and he ended up laid out in the middle of the seat, and I just look in the rearview mirror, and I see him poke his head up and go, what the fuck was that? So we continued on our merry way to the next strip club, because of course we didn't go home. We kept the party going. So that's the mentality of where Party Wayne's head was. Mm-hmm. Fucking. So the difference between then and now is, one, I don't go to strip clubs anymore. I stopped doing that, mostly because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of fucking money. Two, I don't do drugs anymore. This year, actually, me and my best friend have decided to not drink all year. So,
damn.
Since New Year's Eve, I haven't had a drop to drink.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a lot more focused now. I actually have something worth living for now. Mm-hmm. I was able to work through all the mental shit that I was going through after I stopped doing drugs, and allowed myself to feel all the things I was feeling, and discovered music, rediscovered creativity, rediscovered my passion for art. And so I started making music, and that gave me a level of focus to want to improve and become the best that I can be. To the point where now I'm doing these shows and, producing other people's shit and, just doing my thing. So I still have fun. I'm still, shit flies out of my mouth. It's still weird living inside my head. I still crack horrible jokes, but I don't have the same I don't care attitude that I used to. I still don't give a fuck, but I care, especially about myself.
Yeah, that's I like that you brought it back to that, to caring now, because when you mentioned that you would do your best to refrain from being fucked up, that you would try to be as sober as you could when you and I would hang out back then, because you knew that I was doing the sober thing.
Right.
What I saw, what I felt, what I heard was what a huge heart this guy has. I mean, like even in the depths of addiction. And honestly, I feel like that's a commonality among people who experience addiction, and other, however we want to coin them, mental illnesses, emotional imbalances.
People who are going the fuck through it.
We care, and we live in a world that unfortunately oftentimes
doesn't
teach us. So few of us are actually taught how to feel in a way that is supportive for us and the people and the environment around us.
I mean, it's kind of the type thing too where it's like my own choices, my own burdens, my own, especially when it comes to my choices and what the fuck I'm doing, what I do shouldn't affect someone else because they didn't make that choice. In my mind, they're innocent of the things that I do, so why would I make them suffer the ill effects of it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
I think we're more interconnected than that, though.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a human trait too, is to try to oversimplify people like human beings. Human beings are by nature complex, but we try to oversimplify it to help understand.
Yeah.
So, marinate on that for a second. I just dropped some shit. And yeah. So,
one of my favorite songs of yours is still Mentals.
That someone else said that to me the other day, and I can't listen to that song too often because it brings me back to a very dark place.
It was written from a very dark place.
Yeah, it came from a very dark place. It helped get me out of a very dark place because I was able to actually fully feel and fully experience it. In that song, I'm talking about how, I was apologizing to my mother for not being able to save her from her stroke and her ending up in a nursing home, and essentially how that shit still affects me to this day. And I was apologizing to my dad, who passed away, because I didn't grow up with my dad. I didn't meet my dad till I was 21. And he passed away in 2020, so I only knew the man for like 4 years, but only met him in person once. So I was apologizing for not doing more to help further our relationship, because I was in that place of like early 20s. You're selfish. Everybody's selfish in their early 20s, and that's okay. I'm not saying that as it's a negative thing. Selfishness has a positive and a negative to it. It's all about balance. Marinate on that. But like, so it was just apologizing for not doing things that were out of my control. So, it kind of explores the mentality of being affected by something that you can't control and learning to work through that. Yeah. That one, that one still hits deep whenever I listen to it. Funny thing, if you heard my song Party Favors,
Mm-hmm.
I recorded Party Favors and Mentals in the same studio session. I made sure I recorded Party Favors first because I knew that if I did Mentals first, the energy that came from that song would leach into Party Favors.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's a lot easier to turn off the turn up, party mentality and all right, let's get into some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fucking just a little bit of behind the scenes. I recorded one of my biggest party tracks and one of my most heavy fucking songs in within the span of an hour. Yeah, good times.
Yeah. And yeah, I want to dive more into that, like parsing that nuance of what we can control, like what we can control and what we can't control, because I'm hearing you talk to that theme of how you came out of the heaviest of the emotional turmoil you were going through, and this is certainly true in my case as well, when you, like, as you practiced letting go of the things you couldn't control, and you practiced changing the things or directing the things that you could control.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that takes a long time, or at least it did for me, to fully grasp that there are certain things in this life, no matter how hard you try, you cannot influence its outcome. You cannot influence what happens. You cannot influence what other people do. Especially if they are, say, narcissistic or sociopaths or anything like that. So it becomes easier to deal with when you have the mental fortitude and the mental foresight, or the ability to sit back, look at whatever is affecting you and say, okay, let's separate this out. What can I control? What can't I control? And let me focus on what I can control. And if the thing that I cannot control is still persisting and bothering me, cool. It's a lot easier to cut it out of your life. Mm-hmm. Fucking there's nothing wrong with needing to trim certain negativity out of your life. Especially when it's what's throwing you into an imbalance.
Mm-hmm. What can we control?
You can control what you do. Mm-hmm. That is all you can control, is what you do. Mm-hmm. And there's,
and through that
there are certain things that are able to be influenced by what you can do. So you focus on what you can do and what things you can influence with your actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And through that, through taking that control for our actions over time, that influences our emotions, that influences our thoughts,
100%,
in our relationships, in ways that are outside of just the actions that we are taking inside of the relationship. But as long as we're standing kind of behind this wall of, I want this thing to change that we don't have any control over, we're not only not making progress towards what we, towards more positivity, towards more of what we'd like, but we're compounding, to use the term you did earlier, we're compounding the problem itself. If not the external problem, we're certainly compounding its effect on us internally.
Yeah. And then, that influences what you feel like you can do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one example is, when I was talking about growing up in my grandmother being fairly abusive to me growing up, that was my first example of focusing on what I can control and what I can do, and cutting out what was negatively throwing me into an imbalance in life. Now, I wasn't able to articulate it back then, but it was my first example of actually doing that.
How did you do that?
I moved the fuck out. And I got away from that. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of times...
It's hard, man.
It is hard.
To like, especially with family.
Yeah. A lot of it is...
Boundaries.
People are raised with the idea of family is everything, family above all, and to a certain extent, I agree. But the first and only person you ever truly owe anything to is yourself. And if this family dynamic is throwing you negatively into an imbalance, and I'm not saying, like, a lot of people will say that as an excuse to, like, just go off and do whatever the fuck they want. That is, you know, their actions throwing them into a negative imbalance. If it truly comes down to having to choose your own happiness versus family, certain family members, cut them the fuck out. I've cut off family, and it's hard. I make it sound easy, but it's fucking hard.
I hear you. I want to zoom in on that difference you spoke to. The difference between cutting someone out, cutting an influence out, whether that's family or otherwise, because they are truly something that is a negative influence, or we might say, to take more responsibility, or, you know, something that we don't know how to balance, right? We don't know how to counterbalance.
Yeah.
Versus like that person being a relationship that we don't want to confront.
Yeah.
So in order to avoid what that relationship brings into our life, because we would like to go do other things that maybe feel interfered with by that relationship, we cut it off. And a difference there, I think a key difference there being, like, if someone is contemplating, you know, is it worth cutting this person out of my life, especially that kind of extreme action. And I know I have cut a lot of people out of my life. There was a period of time where I cut you out of my life, right? Like, yeah. And a lot of that was, a lot of those choices were because I didn't know how to hold space for things to change.
Yeah.
So I was reactive to the relationship because it wasn't the way that I wanted my relationships to be, and so I labeled the relationship the relationship and the person as not for me and cut them off, as opposed to recognizing I can take space here, and actually over time that will organically create change.
Yeah.
So to that end, I would say, you know, to the listener, if you're considering, if you're feeling like there's a negative influence in your life, and especially if this is maybe newer, but maybe if it's, you know, even if it's been cyclical, and you're wanting to set a boundary, there's a lot of nuance to setting boundaries that can happen before the point of, I need to cut you out of my life 100% totally forever, like you're gone. That can look like, you know, and you don't even necessarily need to tell the other person, right? No. You can just
walk away.
You can just not, you know, if it's a text message, you can just not respond so quickly, right? You know, if it's like there's lots of nuanced ways to set boundaries, both implicitly and explicitly, that will actually also give you space to notice what is coming up for me now that I'm no longer engaging in this relationship that I've realized is less than ideally healthy for me.
Yeah.
Because it's not only, you know, the other person's things, like as we take space from something that is toxic for us, we're also going to notice things that come up in us in that space. So for example, in times where I've taken space from my family, I've felt a lot of guilt come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and a true metric to be able to measure whether this relationship you're cutting off is truly negative to you and putting you into imbalance, or whether it's cutting off a relationship that you just don't want to deal with because it's not enabling you. And to put it in, plain words, the metric that is best,
or maybe just because you're growing in different directions in that phase of life.
And that is totally valid as well. Yeah. But it all comes down to self-accountability. Like how accountable you are for your own self and your own thoughts and actions. Because I've been guilty of that too, cutting people out of my life because they weren't enabling my shitty choices. And they were calling me the fuck out. And it took a long time to really get to that point of self-accountability to where it was like, okay, they didn't deserve that from me. I need to own up to that and see if I can mend these bridges, because it turns out they were actually a very healthy connection for me. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, if you truly do take accountability for yourself and try to mend those bridges that you burn, they are able to be mended. Mm-hmm. So I mean, don't kick yourself for cutting someone out and then having a moment and realizing, hey, maybe I shouldn't have did that, because as it turns out they were right, or as it turns out I was the one who was fucked up. Mm-hmm. Now I can never talk to this person again. The worst that can happen is they say no. And in reality, you hear no all the time. So what's the point of putting more what's the point of putting more emphasis on that no versus the other no's you hear 15, 20, 25, 30 times a day? You know what I mean?
Rejection.
I've grown to where rejection doesn't mean as much to me, because it's like, oh, okay, cool. You told me no for, this or that reason. You have your reason. It's not my place to question it. I'm going to respect that answer. It all comes down to respect. I'm going to move in this direction with my goals and my desires still in mind, and I'm going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, it's not personal.
No. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is personal when it comes to negative influences in your life trying to come back. And that's deeply personal at that point. No, I'm not fucking doing that. You can kindly fuck off and get chlamydia and die in a fire for all I care. Talking to you, ex-girlfriend. No. No. So I mean, it also comes down to what I kind of said earlier. We do our best to oversimplify human beings who by nature are extremely complex. There is no one answer for anything. So, move past the existential dread that the realization of that is, bringing on. And just get up in the morning and be the bad motherfucker you are.
Well, the positive of that shadow is that ultimately the person who's best equipped to tell you as an individual, where to go next in your life is you.
100%.
Because you're the only one that's been with you every step of the way. You're the only one that's been collecting all the data from your life at every step of the way.
You're the only one that has to live with every single choice you've ever made in life.
Yes. So while there is this infinite complexity, you are privy as an individual to all of your infinite complexity, not in any one moment. And certainly depending on where you are in your self-awareness journey, you might be real up close looking at that blade of grass, or you might be, soaring with a bird's eye view. The more you can get that bird's eye view, the better you can navigate where to go on the map.
Marinate on that for a minute. Oh, by the end of this, you're going to be saying that in every podcast now. I'm calling it. Oh, man.
I do say that regularly when I'm receiving information from other people. I'll say, I'm going to let that marinate. That's one of the ways that I say I'm not ready to give you a response right now, right?
I mean, yeah, that's a very good way to do it. I'm sorry, my ADD, I'm looking at this planing tool.
Oh, I'm glad you know what that is.
And it's very nice. No blade in it. ADD is a motherfucker. But like, I've been staring at this block of wood for like the last 2 hours going, that is awesome. I want it.
I feel Brandon would feel very happy to know that you admire and like that you knew what it was and you admire it.
Well, I mean,
he put it on that table thinking that it would make that it would like add some decor to the table, that the router, and I'm glad that y'all understand that about each other.
It must be a guy thing. I don't know. But and some just the takeaway that I would like people to get from that is, ladies, not only am I good with my tongue, I'm good with my hands. Blah, blah, blah. Is that creepy enough for you? I can get creepier.
So many men are, and women too, are so afraid to be so forward with their weirdness, with their difference, with their uniqueness. For a variety of reasons, and like earlier you said the word nerd, like we're all nerds about something, and I would elaborate on that, or speak to the same idea and say that we are all weird if we let ourselves be ourselves. Like to be authentic is to be weird, because you become increasingly unique the more that you get to know yourself. And what the cool thing that actually does, as someone gets out of their own way and doesn't let the fear of whatever, judgment, shame,
ostracization,
ostriches.
Ostrigens?
That word, you want to belong. That thing.
Oh my god, I know this word. Ostracize, ostracization.
Yes, that, all of the and other fears.
You wanna Asta with us for a while? Hold on, let's do this for a while.
Ocelots.
They're a breed of cat. Some of my I like cats. I like kitty.
You have a kitty.
I do have a kitty.
I'm gonna finish this thought, then we can talk about your kitty if you want.
I mean, we don't have to talk about my cat. That's fine.
He would like it. He'd be like, "Of course you talked about me, Wayne."
I don't think he would really comprehend what a podcast is.
I'm piling on to the personification. Okay.
Okay.
So, as a person moves through all of those different fears that come up as they are becoming their unique self, and how are other people and the world going to react to me being myself? That's the question. As we move through that fear and we do it anyway, as Mother Teresa would say, do it anyway. You know that quote I'm talking about?
Yeah, I love Mommy Teresa.
It's so good. We did just sexualize Mother Teresa on the Naturally Rosie podcast.
I'll sexualize anyone. I don't care. She probably liked it.
I feel she did.
She's sitting there going, "Oh my. Oh yes, young man. You want to dive into this holy kitty? Dip your toes in. Water's warm."
The more that
I'm sorry. I just couldn't hold it back any longer.
We got time. We have so much time.
I'm just wondering, why does sexual Mother Teresa sound like Julia Childs?
actually the same person by locating.
All right, Mommy Julia, it is.
Ooh, that's some good food.
Just gotta go ahead and sip this water and let Rose finish her fucking thought.
As we push through the fear and become more of ourself, what that does is it organically clears the path for us that tells us where to go as ourself. Because like Wayne was pointing out, who we are isn't going to be for everyone, and some people will say no, and that'll be in lots of different ways, more implicitly, more explicitly. You just won't vibe with them, right? And when you're not feeling that vibe, it's information for you, and maybe it's information to maybe it's feedback to fine-tune yourself some more, and maybe it's feedback to go a different direction, right? Turn a little, go to the side, tweaks how you're doing some things.
Full fucking send it sometimes.
What?
Full fucking send it. Just fucking mom.
Right.
Whatever.
And then there's not so much questioning of, is this right for me? Is this wrong for me? What do I do? Because you just be yourself.
Yeah.
And then you know what to do because it's the map of yourself, right? So that's why all this like self-reflection, self-awareness, getting to know and accept and love yourself and express that to the world. That's why, one of the reasons that it's so fucking valuable is because it creates a map that tells you where to go and where not to go. Let that marinate.
Marinate on that for a minute. And fuck it. So, to kind of put the same thing into different words.
Please do, because it's probably simpler the way you'll say it, and then people will be like, I didn't understand what Rose said, but I understood what Wayne said.
The way that I look at it is, I'm going to be genuinely myself because that weeds out the weak. Fucking, if you ain't strong enough to hang, I don't need you around. Mm-hmm. Like, shit, fucking, we building over here. And we're also weird as fuck while we're doing it, but there's a lot of laughs. Like, Rose has seen my brother and I together. There's a lot of laughs, but we're weird as fuck. We crack some jokes.
And it gets dark.
It gets very dark.
Because guess what? The people who have the most capacity to soar are people who have been in the darkest depths.
Hey, this is coming from the guy who said Mommy Teresa. Still processing that one a little bit. Not even gonna lie to you.
I really hope one day you send me a picture of an altar you've made to Mommy Teresa.
There's gonna be a lot of condoms, a lot of whipped cream, and a lot of jalapenos. Don't ask what they're for.
You had me until the jalapenos.
Don't knock it till you try it. Spice things up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. It gets real weird.
Capsaicin. Who's capsaicin is lube? Hold on. That was the thought that came in my head. Ow. That would suck so hard.
What is capsaicin?
Capsaicin is the molecule or the chemical that is found in peppers that trigger the spicy.
Okay.
Like, capsaicin is spice.
Okay.
Capsaicin is holy fuck, I'm dying. Why am I sweating? The next day you're sitting on the toilet going, God help me. Oh my God. It's something that most white people are allergic to, I found out. Because if you introduce a little capsaicin to something, they're going, I'm dying. The caucasity of motherfuckers. And this is coming from a white guy.
Something I want to talk about is it still a thing? Is it still one of your themes or intentions, kind of niches with your music to speak about men's mental health?
Yeah, so I mean, that is one of the things that I try to include.
I want to talk more about that and why you're interested in that and what you see, and
because
potential for improvement, change.
In a lot of modern society and mainstream media, there isn't a lot of representation for men's mental health. There isn't a lot of advocacy for it. For the simple fact that as a society, we are still stuck in a lot of archaic patriarchal ways of how men need to deal with emotions. And a lot of that is men shouldn't feel emotions. Men shouldn't cry. Men shouldn't be, this, that, or the other. And my argument is that no, men are able to feel emotions and still be masculine. Like, you can ask Rose, I am rather in touch with my emotions as an individual, but I am still able to maintain my masculinity in every way possible. And so that's why that there are so many suicides. The ratio of suicides between men and women are so skewed because the advocacy for mental health is usually feminine focused, but there's not a lot of advocacy for men. And there's only one other artist out there that I know of that advocates for men's mental health and mental health in general even more than I do, which is King ISO, currently signed to Strange Music. Shout out to King ISO. He's actually one of the artists that inspired me to narrow his focus on mental health to men's mental health. Because while I do recognize that females need advocacy for mental health, I'm not saying switch one for the other. I want to raise awareness and raise advocacy for men's mental health to try to help people understand that, men, it is okay to go through it. It is okay to feel things. It is okay to cry. It is okay to grieve. It's okay to it's okay. It's okay to seek help. Seeking help does not make you any less of a man. You know what I mean? Like, one of the greatest men that I've ever had the pleasure to know, who actually raised me as his son, my grandfather, he had his own struggles with mental health. He actually sought help for it. And if the
was
way
that back when he was younger or recently? If that's okay to talk about.
Both, actually.
I'm just curious,
like,
because this is a man who's in
he's in his 80s.
80s, yeah.
It's more in his past. He sought mental help when he really needed it.
I mean, that
and
it's challenging enough now,
yeah,
right, for men to feel.
But this was like back in the 80s,
when
it was not okay to be gay. It really wasn't okay to be black. It really wasn't okay to be a lot of things other than a straight white male who didn't feel shit. You know what I mean? So like that showed a lot of strength of character for him to not only say, hey, I've got this mental shit going on, but also, hey, I need to get some help for it.
Yes.
So, I try to advocate for that in my music without being overbearing, because advocacy is great, but like everything else in life, there needs to be balance. And if that's all that is in my music, then people are going to go, holy shit, will this guy shut the fuck up? And I never want people to say that. I want people to be able to listen to an album and hear the entire range of human emotions. Like that is my ultimate goal, is to capture the entire spectrum of human emotion in my music. And I understand that's a goal I will probably never achieve, but it's also I equate that to the search for perfection. Perfection is something that can never be achieved, only strived for. So I am perfectly okay with understanding that I will probably never achieve that goal, but the fact that I continuously strive for it puts me way ahead of people who don't do it in the first place.
Yeah, I love about emotion that it is the underlying, it is a foundational connector of, dare I say, all human beings.
Yeah.
That though we all have a different story, though we belong to, different groups who we have more in common with in some ways, and there are differences between us and other groups, etc. We have our individual identity, our group identities. Emotion, I've found, is the most personal aspect of the human experience that allows me to connect with every single other person.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that we don't have the same experience that triggers guilt in us. We both know what it's like to feel guilty.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that we have different experiences that trigger anger. Mm-hmm. We all know what it's like to feel angry. Unless you've forgotten because you're stifling your anger.
Or if you just, keep yourself, like, insanely high all the time.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Which, hey, Snoop Dogg, shout out to you. I want to smoke with you one day, cuh.
Yeah! Nice.
And it kind of also relates back to something my mother said to me when I was a kid that I didn't really understand till I was older. And she looked at me once and she said, there is truly one universal language among humans, and that is music. And I didn't get it then, but as I got older and I started listening to more and more music, and I started expanding my borders when it comes to music, listening to international music and that are totally different cultures and totally, people who live totally different lives than I do, but their music still speaks to me, even though I may or may not even understand the language. And that is because music speaks to human emotion, not human intellect. Mm-hmm. So, yes, that is the true universal language among humans is music, because it speaks to our emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, which, it's interesting to note that those are very feminine aspects of the self.
Ladies, I'm in touch with my feminine side, but I'm also, able to put it down and do what I got to do as a man. So, like, you can call me the total package. That's fine. Marinate on that a minute.
All of my favorite men are in touch with their feminine sides, and all of my favorite women are in touch with their masculine sides. Yeah. I love the balance.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of like how men and women both have levels of testosterone and estrogen. Mm-hmm. But, men typically have higher levels of testosterone. Women typically have higher levels of estrogen. But it creates a balance in our body. Yes. You have to be in touch with that balance. Mm-hmm. Like, the Shaolin monks and Buddhist monks are probably, the best people to explain the human condition, because they're the ones who truly and purposefully strive for balance throughout their entire lives.
Brandon is one of his newer coworkers is a Shaolin monk.
Those are some bad motherfuckers.
They're like almost best friends now. Is my understanding.
Like, I've never met a Shaolin monk. I've met Buddhists.
Brandon says he's seen this guy do like
and
whatever routines, practices.
Yeah, and a lot of people
I would like to see.
A lot of people, have this misconception that, like, Shaolin monks who are able to, like, walk on fire and, like, have bricks broken over their head and be fine, that, their training has hardened them to, but no, it's not a matter of hardening and toughening. It's a matter of understanding and respecting the balance of yourself and the world around you. Mm-hmm. And so you are able to allow your body to interact with your environment in such a way to achieve a desired outcome.
Okay, marinate on that.
Marinate on that motherfucker for a minute. God damn.
What are some good resources for men who are feeling emotionally cut off, or maybe something that I notice in my clients is the other polarity. Something that I sometimes notice in my clients is the other polarity, where they've become very emotional and don't know how to, contain or direct that so much, aren't as in touch with their masculine side as they might need to be to direct that energy in a way that's conducive. Yeah, what are good resources for men
So,
doing the inner work?
what I've found for me personally is that I have a diverse group of other men that I am close with, friends wise, who are all varied personalities. You know what I mean? So just balance is truly achieved through diversity and embracing everybody for who they are. So a lot of times my issues come from isolation. So isolating yourself does nothing for you, in my experience. So you want to do more inner work, accept a wider diversity of outer influence to work on yourself internally. Because other people's ideas will help shape what your ideas are. You may not always agree with them 100% of the time. Rose and I have had many disagreements on many things in the past. But I also know that her opinions and my opinions have helped shape each other's further opinions to where the sum is greater than its parts. You know what I mean? So like, just put you got to put yourself out there. You got to be able to accept the fact that some people might not rock with you. You got to accept that some people might not fuck with you. But diversify your circle. And keep a circle of people around you that you trust.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It takes time. And you have to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. You're not going to achieve fast results. The mentality and the mindset that I have now took literally almost 30 years of building. But day one is better than one day, so get started on that shit. What was that I said? Marinate on that for a minute.
So good. I had Jeffrey Carver on the podcast a couple months ago, who's a friend, and he is super involved in the world of men's work, like men's groups doing inner work. He's involved with Sacred Sons, which is a worldwide organization, and then he has let's see, I think he's done some work with other groups, but he's now, so like a year ago or so, he started his own local St. Louis. Well, it's local. They do local things, and there's a Zoom call that anyone can call into called Midwest Men. And I'm sure there are other similar opportunities, and I bring this up because I will often hear from clients, from male clients, that just the idea of, well, I'll hear two things. I'll hear that one, like just the idea of like branching out to go like try to make friends feels so foreign, so intimidating to them, that like just like that's a huge block, right? Yeah. And so if you're in that spot, maybe going to a place where like the intention is a conscious gathering of men to like commune, do inner work, support each other, that might feel more, welcoming, safer, more comfortable for you. And another thing I'll hear from male clients often is like, I've looked a lot of places, I just can't find my people, right? Like, and to that end, like, one, you gotta keep looking, because you're not gonna find them if you give up. You're not gonna find them isolating in your home.
Right.
And again, you might benefit from attending one of these, very intentional communities that's catered to support connection, self-development among men, Because the cool thing about those spaces is, like, everyone's welcome, right?
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're willing to, like, show up and own yourself and, you know, you're not, like, actually being a dick.
Right.
You know, you can have a dick. That's okay. But don't, like, actually be a dick.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I wanted to throw those out.
I mean, and something else, like, to help meet people is go do what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Like, whether that be you like playing D&D, okay, find a D&D group, like, at a fucking, you know, game store. Or you like going to see, like, local shows, go to a local show.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to these events without trying to hit on women. You can actually go there to enjoy the experience, and if you meet people to be friends with, hey, that could be the beginning of a friendship. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to, like, it going to do stuff that you enjoy is a lot easier to meet people because you already have something in common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially doing those things consistently, even if you don't, you know, make a great friend the first time you're there, you know, you're going to be building rapport with the environment, with the community, and with other people who are willing to show up consistently.
And you're also going to be creating memories of the events themselves. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's a no-lose situation. Mm-hmm. So I mean, shit, what do you got to lose? Someone saying no? Ooh, oh no. Saying no is not the worst thing in the world. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to hear it.
Yeah. Yes. Something I was thinking about this morning, anticipating you coming on the podcast, Wayne, was that you are someone who, and I was thinking this for, you know, all of the people I have on the podcast, for me, for the people that I tend to surround myself with, that we are more afraid of not living than we are of dying.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the way that I look at it is I'm always trying to learn something, because learning is growth. You know, and as soon as you stop learning is when you stop growing. You
start dying.
Yeah, and that is a way to look at it, and that's the way I look at it, is if I'm not growing, I'm dead. Mm-hmm. So, you know, fuck that. I want to live.
Yeah. And the world could really use your gifts. Yeah. You know?
Like, and that goes for everybody. Like, world.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, the world can use. You know, the world needs everybody. Yeah. You know, fucking you. I lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere, and then I just stopped.
To make it really black and white, and there's a lot of nuance here, you know. And do you want to be contributing to the solution more, or do you want to be contributing to the problem more?
Yeah. I mean, and stop giving a fuck what other people think of you.
Ooh.
Like, what other people think of you doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't really fucking, it doesn't matter. Like, go do what you gotta do, handle your business, wash your ass, and fuck what everybody else thinks.
And there's a balance to that too.
There is a balance to that.
If you're in a position that is where you are really relying on someone's, you know, positive regard towards you to pay your bills, etc. You know,
like, yeah,
no one's suggesting that you self-sabotage.
No, don't self-sabotage, but also don't.
You should probably get yourself out of that situation.
Yeah,
you know,
100%. Like, that job ain't worth it if it's causing you to bend over backwards to placate a grown ass adult, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, fucking
jobs, relationships.
Yeah, like
communities like that.
100% no. Like, we are all grown adults.
There are plenty of people out there who would love for you to be yourself.
Yes.
Do you know how powerful it is to be yourself? Way more fueled.
Hold on, I'm going to rotate this microphone because the sun is blinding me. I'm scooching over my little scoochy chair. Hey there, sweet thing. How you doing? Yeah, this is much better.
Next time you come in, I'll do my best to have a full studio audience of beautiful women.
I mean, I appreciate that. We're going to need to do some renovations to create the studio space.
I feel very confident, Wayne, that at some point someone will hear my story and my content, hear and read my story and my content, and be like, this girl needs like a platform.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And we'll get that studio renovation.
Hell yeah.
Just you wait.
Hell, build your own building for a studio.
That's what I'm saying, Wayne.
That's in my plans too at some point. Like, I definitely want to. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I got to keep working to do them.
Yep. Makes it a lot easier when the work is play.
Oh yeah.
To circle back to the play.
If you're not playing, what the fuck are you doing? You got to play. So.
Yeah. You got anything else before we wrap up?
No, ma'am.
You feel like your heart's been
I feel like
cut open and put on display?
Yeah. I mean that's a good way to word it. I think that if people haven't been weirded out enough by me yet, you're a sucker for punishment, and I like that.
Wayne is also now offering Daddy Don sessions.
I mean, that's just a Tuesday. Only on Tuesdays.
Oh, keep laughing. I'm going to add that into my little clip at the end. It'll be something like, until next time, get outside, give yourself a hug from me, and keep laughing. We're all in this together.